Welcome to Season 3 of Sailing Sitka. I'm Kenna and this is Jay. We live aboard our 1976 Choi Lee sailboat named Sitka, in which we have sailed south from Canada in 2022 to the very last port of Mexico. This season, we are finally exiting Mexico and taking our boat further through the Panama Canal and into the beautiful Central American waters. So hit that subscribe button and follow along, as this season we are sailing as far and wide as possible. You guys you make this happen, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Sailing Sitka, and I hope you enjoy. We've spent the last few days anchored in Capos, Costa Rica, attending to some much needed boat work and playing tourist in Emmanuel Antonio National Park. This has been by far one of our favorite stops in this beautiful and luscious country. If you were to ask us, it's a must-see when sailing up or down the Pacific coast of Central America. But now it's time to move on. So join us on this week's episode as we lift anchor and sail to Golfito, the very last port of Costa Rica, before we check out and press onwards to Panama. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and enjoy this week's creation from us truly on Sailing Sitka.
Alright guys, we are now the morning of the day we're leaving, and we gotta pull up our stern anchor, which is behind us at the moment, as you can see. So the green marker over there marks the actual anchor, and this is just so that boats know not to go in between here and there. So just woke up here at 6 a.m. We're gonna launch the dinghy here shortly. Then Kenna's gonna ease off on the stern anchor here, and then I'm gonna pull it up from the marker, bring it in the dinghy. Then I'll disconnect it from this line using these pliers to cut the safety wire and then my rigging knife. And then once that's done, we'll be pulling it back in here. We'll coil this line, and then I'll have to go through the painstakingly slow process of emptying this cockpit locker and then putting the anchor back in. I really wish we'd have a like a fortress, like a lighter one, set up on the stern so that it's easily deployed. If we would have that set up, we would use a stern anchor a lot more often, because it is quite nice. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not hard to set. It's just a pain in the ass for us to take everything out, and the anchor can only fit exactly one way in there, so it's a pain.
All right, unsetting. Are we being? Oh yeah, we are. Oh, we are. All right, unsetting the first hook as we have a stern and our bow anchor down. What? I'm so tired, you guys. Jay's unsetting our stern anchor right now before we actually lift up hook. And we're very excited. Looks like we're going to be able to sail on this afternoon, so stay tuned.
Forward. Okay, stop. Yeah, I saw them earlier, they're mental. Okay, hon, you can go tie this.
All right, we got both anchors up. We are on the move. Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to this week's episode of Sailing Sitka, the one where we are sailing to Golfito here in Costa Rica. We just lifted the hook. We actually lifted both of our hooks. We had a stern anchor out for the last 4 days. And yeah, we enjoyed the hell out of Capos. Like, it was beautiful here. We're very excited to be on the move again. It is a beautiful day.
We're just passing a giant line of just garbage everywhere. Logs, plastic, cans, everything. And it's just like a perfect line for the last like 10 minutes. It's kind of weird.
We turned the engine off and sailed purely with our white canvases for a little while, until our speed started to dip from a low 4 knots to 3, and then sadly to quickly under 2.5 knots. There simply wasn't enough wind to move Sitka quick enough, and as her sails started to luff, we furled in the Genoa and unfortunately started our engine to get her gliding at a more preferred speed of 5 knots. Hour 6 out here at sea, and nothing eventful enough to film, which is not a bad thing, you know. So we're just chilling, but yeah, no fish on the line, not a gust of wind strong enough to sail, so we're just motoring along. Jay's making some breakfast, potatoes down below for lunch, and I prepared us a pasta meal for dinner tonight, so nobody has to really go down and cook. And that's us right now. Hopefully something really exciting happens, like dolphins or fish, or maybe the wind's picking up. Maybe. We found the wind once again, and we were sailing at a solid 4.5 knots. All seemed to be just perfect for a few hours, until we found ourselves sailing directly into a nasty squall.
All right, well, we are motoring right into what seems to be a shit ton of rain. So it's about to be sunset here, but these clouds look a little ominous. Behind us a bit lighter, but yeah. Between the island and the mainland, and we can't see neither, and they're right next to us. So yeah, the air is dense with water molecules. Hopefully it's just rain and no lightning or thunder, but we were told that this island to our starboard side is the thunder and lightning capital of the world from the sailors on board Carpe Diem. So hopefully this doesn't hold true for us tonight. We should be, oh, I just saw lightning actually. I just saw lightning bolt. Yeah, the rain is just starting now. The rain has started. We had to put the main away because it was luffing so much, because normally we're able to motor sail, but we're going literally dead into it right now as we're going between the island and the mainland here. So once we turn here in about 10-12 miles, we're going to be able to put the main back up and motor sail, hopefully. Alright guys, little update. Just was on deck for the last like 30 minutes. Just dried out there. I went in a bathing suit and a life jacket. Life jacket's there all soaking wet with my tether. So we had taken down the main earlier because we're like right in beating right in the middle of it, so basically like in the no-go zone, and even with the engine we weren't able to motor sail while pinching between the island and the mainland, so we were just sloughing non-stop. So we took the main down, but now when my watch started, the wind was starting to, like, we had changed course and we were going to be able to motor sail now. It was pissing rain and like gusting, and but still like right where we need to go. So I went up on deck solo, put the main up, but with the lazy jack, like one of the bands got caught in the lazy jacks and I had to pull the lazy jacks down. That got untangled. Our topping lift on here, I'll show you, but it always gets caught in the backstay because it's really close to our split backstay, and it gets caught on that plate that connects the top backstay to the split part. Still caught right now. I tried to undo it, but it was pretty much unsafe for me swinging up everywhere back there, so I just put some slack in it so it doesn't cause any damage. And then when I tensioned the main, the actual outhaul for the clue just like snapped, pow, and I was like, fuck me. And then I look up and it's like just blowing in the wind. So I just basically went to first reef. Yeah, I'll have to change that. And you know what, today I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that looks like it's starting to chafe, and it's a thin line that honestly should have probably never been used as a outhaul. So anyways, lessons learned. When you see something and you think it needs addressing, address it now, not when shit hits the fan. Anyways, not the end of the world. I just had to put a reef in. So even though there's not much wind, honestly, I just wanted to put the main up to stabilize the boat because the swell was really confused and we're like bouncing up and down. And so with the main, it helps a lot balance the boat. So yeah, my bathing, I got in a bathing suit because like my gear, like I've explained before, is like no longer waterproof at all. Like even these pants are only like 2 years old and they're getting soaked through now. So I don't know, Helly Hansen, get your shit together. This gill jacket served me really good, but I mean it's 10 years old now, so that I can understand after 10 years needing a new one. 2 years though, shit should still be waterproof, especially because we don't use that gear a lot anymore. Like we use it coming down the coast because it was cold and stuff, but since we've been in Mexico, like seldom do we use this gear. Out here, the only reason we use it is because it pours rain. If not, we wouldn't. Like the temperature right now is lovely. It's just when you're soaking wet, you get pretty cold actually. But yeah, so now if I do stuff on deck where I'm gonna get drenched, I just get in a bathing suit because there's no point going in gear and I'm soaked in, like for the rest of the night. So here's my bathing suit flapping in the wind right now, drenched. But anyways, that's the update for now. It is 9:10 p.m. Yeah, we're just along the coast here. Like we're only 5 miles offshore right now, and we're trying not to go too far off because then we're gonna have to veer even more to the east. I honestly way prefer bigger offshore passages than this kind of like coastal around the bend kind of thing, because you kind of want to stay close to shore in these kind of passages, and the depth makes it so that a lot of times you get shittier seas. Like here in Costa Rica, like from what I've been noticing lately, is about 10 miles offshore it's usually quite deep, but as you get closer to 5 it drops down considerably, like from like 1,000 feet to sometimes 2,000 feet down to like 180, 200 feet. So what that does is it makes the seas get a lot steeper, closer inshore. So then it's like the fine line of like, oh, is it worth adding like hours and hours going further offshore and then hours and hours getting back inshore? It depends, I guess. But for us right now, it didn't make sense for this little bit because we're gonna have to round up again in a few hours. So, but yeah, it makes for sloppy sea state, and that's why it was worth for me putting the main back up. But anyways, enough rambling on. Jay signing off.
Through the squalls and sloppy seas, we pressed on, and by first light on my watch, we made our way into the Bay of Golfito. There's no feeling quite like being within a few miles of a new anchorage, knowing that whatever you had to deal with on that passage prior, it would soon be behind you, and you'll be able to feel settled once again, but this time in a new and unknown destination.
All right, guys, good morning. Well, we are just about to enter Golfito here, so we had to go in like 18 miles into this bay, and then the mouth of the actual Bay of Golfito is right there. And this is a giant bay, like not as big as San Francisco Bay, but big. Like we still have 5 miles to do once we get in there, so that's really cool. Last time we were in a bay of that size would have been, when was it? I think Escondido was the last like bay, but this is even more protected. So this is like a bay within a bay with a tiny entrance and all protected by a mountain. I mean, there's a low-lying area right here, so wind could funnel in there, but apparently it's flat calm in there. I'll see there's gonna be no swell, so that's cool. So just keeping an eye out. The weather was atrocious for this passage. The wind we weren't supposed to have any wind except maybe on our beam at 10 knots, and we ended up getting it on the nose the entire time. Even when we would turn more to port, more to the east, it should have been clocking more towards our beam and to broad reach, and it was still right on our nose. There wasn't a lot of wind, just little rain squalls that would come, and then you would get torrentially drenched. Couldn't see anything. Like I told you guys last night, the outhaul on the main broke, and like that's the old outhaul. Like it's just a tiny line like this on here, but I know what you guys think, that's probably not a good line for an outhaul. Well, it's been there for 4 years. Like we switched it out, but it's the same type of line, but now we'll go to something bigger. Here you got to watch out, there's a lot of stuff in the water. You can see a whole tree here. So yeah, gonna keep a sharp lookout here. The rain kind of just stopped. I managed to get a bit of sleep last night because we were just motoring, so I figured might as well go to bed because I'm not gonna get much out of it. Anyways, being out here, you couldn't see anything. So, oh, there's a bird on it. It's a Canadian aircraft carrier. Canadian aircraft carrier. Also, I don't think I showed you, but it was pissing rain, and the starboard porthole that we did doesn't leak. The port side, the one that used to leak the most, still leaks a few drops, and I'm so annoyed by it. Like it's like just like you could tell in the window, it's the sealant that kind of failed. I don't know if I didn't push as hard on that one, but anyway, pretty bummed about that. It's like Sitka doesn't want to be dry up there. Like that porthole has been leaking since I've owned the boat, and we literally added another port light above it, and it's still fucking leaking. So Sitka gets one more warning, and if she doesn't listen, then I'm gonna fiberglass it. So don't tempt me with a good time. You won't have portholes, so better listen up, Buttercup. So y'all know I love fiberglass, so 2 less holes. So if she doesn't behave, that's what's gonna happen. Until we're somewhere where I can actually install something, like it's gonna be no more hatches, period, or no more portholes on that. Not all of them, just the forward ones. But we'll probably be able to add sealant. I kind of hate myself now for not getting another tube of 295 when we were somewhere where we could buy it. But I thought one was going to be plenty to have some spare, but no, we ended up using the entire tube. There was like maybe this much left, and then we just chucked it, which in retrospect I would have probably kept. But anyways, life sometimes. But excited to be in a flat calm anchorage. Very excited about that. Yeah, just give me a sec. Okay, reverse. Okay, stop. Forward. Okay, good. Stop. Neutral, out of gear.
There you have it, folks. Anchored in Golfito. Well, it is clearing up here in Golfito in Costa Rica, and it feels nice. The sun is just peeking through, so it's starting to get a little warm. Honestly, that sailover was cold. Like, it was rainy and it was freaking cold. Like, we had to put jackets on, which is crazy. This bay, you guys, is beautiful. You can tell it's like the jungly working class society of Costa Rica here, which is a very nice break from the gringofied places that we have been. We're so excited to go check out this little town. There's like 4 marinas in here, I think, maybe more. And there's a fuel dock we're gonna be able to go get fuel at, which is fantastic. There's also fresh water. There might be a place to fill propane. If so, we're gonna do that. And as you can tell around me, it is like flat calm. Flat like a freaking lake. So, that being said, I'm gonna take that opportunity that we have here with a flat calm anchorage and turn it into me editing some episodes. Get some of those pumped out. I hate editing episodes in a rolly ass anchorage. Nothing worse than being seasick down below in the editing cave for 8 hours a day. So at least here I'll be able to enjoy it, get some of those pumped out for you guys. And yeah, I think we're gonna be here around 4 days, which is pretty exciting. I'm excited to explore this little town. And then this is our last stop in Costa Rica. This is where we will be checking out and heading to Panama, which is crazy. Costa Rica was absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend it to any sailor. It is free to check in. To check out, it is supposedly $25 USD, which again is not a big deal compared to Nicaragua, which was $400 USD checking in and out. The only downside here, I would say, is it is extremely rainy, like to the point where it's almost defeating, especially with boat life. We found a lot of leaks, as you guys remember, so that was a little bit hard to deal with. But we did find little pockets of paradises. Bahia Belena was one of them, as well as our last anchorage, which was Capos. Those were little pockets of sunshine, which were fantastic. And so far here, it was just drizzling rain, so maybe it's gonna be nice and sunny for us. Let's hope. Get those solar panels pumping. And yeah, this is us, you guys. Just chilling for the next 4 days. Thanks for watching. We surely appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Peace. A-Town. I'm not putting that. Maybe I will. I don't know. No, I won't.
Next week on Sailing Sitka, we fix our port side porthole, which decided to epically fail on us in Capos. We also adventure into this colorful little town and even turn Sitka into a floating tattoo shop at anchor. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far in the episode, comment the word coconut down below, and we'll be able to see who the real MVPs of our episodes really are. We appreciate you all, and an extra thank you to our Patreons for keeping Sitka on the move and afloat this whole time. See you all next week.
Feeling very grateful today. watching this week's episode of Sailing Sitka. Stick around for more to come. If you enjoyed, please spread the love and let us know. Special thank you to our Patreon members for making these videos possible, as well as helping our dreams come true. See you all next week.